To one and all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT webinar by Capital Goods Skill Council. And I take a pleasure in welcoming Mr. Ayappan Ramurthy, Director from Siemens Software Solutions, and I'll introduce him later on. I welcome Mr. Harsh Chauhan, from Manager of Marketing from Capital Goods Skill Council, and welcome all of you. I think more and more will be joining. We have enrollment of around 200, but I think 50 has just joined on time. So we'll respect timing and we will start now. We had a technology issue because the internets are not fast enough everywhere. I request all the audience to mute their video and audio because we do have a bandwidth problem. Mr. Sambit Kumar Sahu and others, kindly mute your audio and video. And Harsh can use his organizer tool to close the audio and video of others.
Okay, sir.
Harsh, all the tools have got a method of closing that. Okay, welcome once again. And my name is Chandramouli, and I happen to be a General Council member and a convener of Industry 4.0 Task Force of Capital Goods Skill Council. And also I am initiating this ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT webinar series to create a self-reliant nation. And we will talk a little more about what this series is all about. To begin with, these are the various objectives of setting up the Sector Skill Council called the Capital Goods Sector Skill Council. Very briefly, this council covers several subsectors, including machine tools, metal forming, foundry and forging, textile machinery, plastic machinery, process equipment, construction machinery, electrical equipment, material handling equipment, automation equipment, so on and so forth. And it was established in the year 2013, promoted by the government, Department of Heavy Industries and Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, along with the support of National Skill Development Corporation. It's one of the 34 sector skill councils, which is an extended arm of National Skill Development Corporation. Now you can see the promoters already mentioned, and many associations form part of this council. IMTMA, Machine Tool, etc., all of them are part of our sector skill council. We have many public sector organizations who are on the general council body: HMT, Heavy Engineering Corporation, BHEL, BEL, Ordnance Factory Board, BEML, and others, and many large private organizations supporting as a general council members: Larsen and Toubro, Gainwell, Bharat Forge, Gusti, and we have many private sector organizations like Siemens today is one of our speakers, but also on the general council, Festo, Fanuc, Starag, and so on and so forth. Our present chairman is Mr. Sunil Chaturvedi. He is chairman and managing director of Gainwell. And this is a company which is representing Caterpillar and so many other organizations, very popular in the tractor and earth mover industry. And our present COO, Chief Operating Officer, is Ms. Shalini Singh. She's planning to join a little later. She's already on another call and webinar. And this is and we have affiliated more than 900 training centers across the country. Capital Goods Skill Council has got 3 objectives. One is to create national occupation standards, including standards for Industry 4.0, to create content and curriculum, what we call as the qualification profiles, and to accredit training centers like these 900 centers I just spoke about, and also deliver the quality assurance, which includes assessment and certification. But now in the webinar, in the COVID era, we would like to also take active participation in spreading the knowledge through such webinars as we are doing today. Now, many achievements, I don't want to dwell on it. 94,000 people have been assessed in the last 5 years. 67,000 people have been certified, and so on and so forth. We also have great alliance with the state governments. Although we are a national body, we have accredited 96 national occupational standards, of which comprises 55 skill domains. We have regularly participated in World Skill Competition. The image that you see is an award won by one of the young boys who did a project in welding in Kazan, Russia. And even this year, notwithstanding the COVID, there are a lot of enrollment. 6,590 candidates have enrolled into multiple skill areas. I'm moving on quickly to tell you that apprenticeship scheme has been handed over to the sector councils. I'm very happy to tell you that there is a portal on the National Skill Development Corporation and also in our own portal. and you can look at the opportunities for job opportunities created and how many people already been placed, notwithstanding the corona. 4,945 job opportunities created as of March 2020 and 1,052 contracts. That means jobs have been offered. So we are playing an active role even in employment indirectly through the portal. Now I would like to come to the subject of the day quickly. Industry 4.0 technologies is been a buzzword for the last few years. And what does it mean to all of us? It means a bouquet of technologies. And some technologies are very familiar. You've been hearing about artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing, augmented reality, system integration, cloud-based applications, simulation solutions, Internet of Things, industrial robots, and so on and so forth. Now, all these technologies, including big data analytics, is something which are not going to be helpful just as a technology. We have to apply it to the real world industry. How do we apply to real world industry? Unless we train the people. I'm sorry, cold this morning. So, Capital Goods Skill Council have taken the important mission of training the people on all these things through training centers, not directly but indirectly through training centers, which will be approved by Capital Goods Skill Council, which will be accredited by Capital Goods Skill Council, and we will create the national occupational standards. Already we created 2 standards, one for factory automation and another for predictive maintenance. And you can see there are many roles, job roles, which are emerging in the coming years. Additive manufacturing technologies, design for additive manufacturing. I mean, the list is very long. I don't want to keep reading it. But today you see the webinar of today is focusing on a very important subject called simulation software and also in PLM, product lifecycle management system analyst. So there is an implication to why we are doing the webinar today. Now we have outlined the top 10 job roles which are coming in the next 5 to 10 years, and you can see there factory automation engineer. This will be very highly paid jobs, at least in the foreseeable future, until there are more and more people coming in. Then the salaries may be a little reduced. But to begin with, these are very high-paying salaries. You can see some of these job descriptions in Western world websites like Indeed.com, very similar to our Naukri.com. There is a Indeed.com. So digital manufacturing engineer, smart mechatronics engineer, predictive maintenance engineer, digital quality engineer. Basically, we are trying to use the power of the internet. The power of the internet is employed to the manufacturing domain, starting with design on the one hand, to the after-sales service on the other hand, and in between comes supply chain, manufacturing, maintenance, and so on and so on. Given this, Capital Goods Skill Council has been given the mandate to do the research of sectoral demands, and the 10 sectors already I mentioned to you. In every sector, we have to analyze the job roles which are emerging, and the COVID impacts of these job roles is also very important. And then the research goes on over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, very important, why we are today doing a webinar. And thanks to the COVID, we are all learning to work out of home. We need powerful internets. Harsh, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Because you vanished from the screen. At least I want to see one face. Then I know I'm not alone.
Oh, okay, sir.
Harsh, please come on the screen. Ayyappan has a problem, but Ayyappan also can come on the screen. So e-learning technology for design, manufacturing, and maintenance. That is, instead of going to the office, people can learn sitting at home, design, and even manufacturing. Today we'll demonstrate how manufacturing is going to benefit out of simulation. Interactive training technology and immersive training technology through augmented reality are not far away in the future, already happening in this country as well as in the Western world. In fact, India is taking a lead on this because we are very strong in IT as well as OT. OT means operational technology and IT means information technology. The convergence of these two is the emergence of the IoT, Internet of Things. And converting existing training curriculum to online modules, even for conventional curriculums, like welding, like turning, milling, etc., is going on now. We call it the smart trades. And alliances with global leaders like Siemens, today we are doing to curate our requirements. They are very happy to participate. In fact, in terms of the long-term interest for this country, Siemens has been in the country for more than 70 years, and they are going to be here for another 700 years. So they're very keen to participate to curate our curriculum. And finally, they are really happy to participate in awareness webinars and workshops which have kick-started in June. We had the Festo, SMC, which are the pneumatic, hydraulic, mechatronic leaders from Germany and Japan. And now we have Siemens. And next month, we are planning to have a large a Danish company, which is into cobots and robots. So every month, you can look at this channel for such knowledge sharing webinars. And very soon, training webinars on a paid fee basis will commence. And eSkill India and Skill India mission of the government of our Honorable Prime Minister for ATMANIRBHAR is first looking at people development before even absorbing the technology. Many webinars have been conducted during the COVID regime. I don't want to go into the details. We also done with regional councils. Let me come to the subject of the day. You know, Mr. Ayyappan Ramurthy sir, welcome sir. Can you also show your face on the video for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Ayyappan Ramurthy is a technical director of Siemens Industry Software, which is a business unit of Siemens Digital Industries division. In fact, Siemens also got digital industries, digital factory, digital PLM. So everything Siemens is converting their regular business into digitalized businesses. He has 25 years of experience in the field of digitalization, including product lifecycle management, which is nothing but starting with product design, supply chain, manufacturing, maintenance, marketing, after sales service, and then giving the feedback to the design again. That is called the PLM, product lifecycle management. Digital manufacturing, which is nothing but using the IoT for manufacturing, and manufacturing operations management, which means the entire gamut which is done by ERP system so far can be done on a real-time online basis. Responsibilities of Mr. Ayyappan includes consulting on strategy and deployment of digital solution for manufacturing organization. They can go and help you to implement this, both for small and medium enterprises as well as for large corporations. Prior to his current role, he held the responsibility to lead digital manufacturing portfolio for Asia Pacific region. Entire Asia Pacific he has been contributing. Now he is focusing on the Indian market. Before joining Siemens, he worked in product development of Bajaj Auto Pune. So he is a very hands-on manufacturing person. He has been working in automobile industry. He is also very research oriented. He has published articles in the areas of knowledge-based engineering and digital manufacturing. He has received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, master's in automobile engineering. Who can be a better person than Mr. Ayyappan Ramurthy for today? And he has got many courses. Today we picked up one course which is very relevant during the COVID era, which is a simulation-based concept called digital twin. But otherwise, there are many courses which Siemens will be offering in the weeks and months to come. Now, what is digital twin? My last slide, after which I close and hand over the baton to Mr. Ayyappan. Very briefly, organizations need to reimagine the manufacturing. So far, we have been doing in some method. We have to now reimagine the manufacturing, not only because of Corona, but even before Corona, we have to re-innovate and become globally competitive. India has to become globally competitive, otherwise we will be thrown out of the export market. And majority of our turnover in automobile industry is not only driven by domestic market, but also by export market, for example. So also with machine tool industry and other industries. New technologies and innovations are disrupting the value chains and business models. A digital twin is a virtual representation of a physical product or process used to understand and predict the physical counterparts' performance characteristics. Now underline the word virtual and physical. Virtual representation of a physical product or process used to understand and predict the physical counterparts' performance characteristics. And this session, ladies and gentlemen, will explore the possibility of using digital twin to reimagine the future of manufacturing. You can see the picture there, which gives an example of using an augmented reality and a digital twin simulation for a person. You can be a designer, it could be a manufacturing person, whatever, and he can make the factory into a world-class organization. Thank you so much for listening patiently. Now we will have two modules. One, Mr. Ayyappan Ramurthy will go for an hour, 60 minutes, maybe plus minus 5 minutes, on the concept of digital twin. He will illustrate with case studies and examples, and followed by 15-20 minutes of Q&A. Some questions already come in advance, and we will put them in the chat box, and I will moderate the question answer session. And feel free to type your questions on the chat box. And I request all of you to switch off your audio and your video, because our bandwidth, unfortunately, in India, it is still over. 65 participants have joined already. I think I'm sure in another 5 minutes after their morning breakfast and coffee. And it's a working day for many people. 70% of Indian manufacturing industry have started running. And in that, 70% of the workforce have joined and working in their factories, which is a good news. And everybody is controlling COVID beautifully. And unfortunately, some COVID is there in the society. But in the manufacturing organization, I am told COVID is well under control. Thank you so much. And I request all of you to enroll more and more in the future sessions to come. As I mentioned already, the next session will be on a very, very contemporary subject called Robos and Cobos, which is planned on September 4th. And an announcement will happen from Capital Goods Skill Council very soon. Thereafter, we are going to launch a series of training workshops for which you have to pay a small nominal fee. And because Capital Goods Council is a non-profit organization, however, when the training workshops are conducted, the council has to pay to the partners also. And therefore, I request all of you to accept that. Very, very nominal fee. Normally, what they charge in the external market, they will charge only 10 to 20% of it for a 2-hour workshop, which will commence from September onwards. Watch this space for more and more announcements. I thank you so much. My name is Chandramauli. You can contact me and I will type my email ID in the chat box. Thank you so much. I will now stop sharing, Harsh, and hand over the baton to Mr. Ayappan Ramu. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
I'll be for a few minutes on the video and audio, then I switch off to improve the bandwidth.
Thank you, sir, for the nice introduction. Just let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Not yet. You're not able to see the screen?
Can you see my screen, sir?
No, sir.
I'm not able to see. Maybe it's coming a little late. So I think for each screen, if you can leave around 10 seconds and then start your discussion.
No, probably I didn't share my screen. So that's okay.
Oh, I see. No, but one audience said he got it. Anyway, your screen is coming, but some letters are not appearing. But for every screen, if you could wait for 10 seconds and then speak, it will be better for the audience. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Ayappan, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So in this session, what we will look at is, what is the digital twin, why it is required and why it is required in the current context for our future business. And what are the technologies which are there available and how we can
switch off the video.
Implement that. So as you can see, digitalization has changed everything. If you look at, the interesting statistics where the industries which were there as a part of the Fortune 500 during 2000, and if you see what are there, now 50% of them have vanished.
If you can speak a little louder, please.
Have gone out of business, and that is primarily because of digitalization. And this is affecting mostly every industry and definitely capital goods industries as well. What we are also seeing is actually today we are in the jinx of situation where it is, there is a battle of the future business. So there are disruptions which are happening, disruptions in terms of the technology, the markets, the business approach, the value chain. So a lot of areas where the disruptions which are happening, and it is important for the business to relook, reimagine, ensure that we are relevant for the future and how we can be more profitable, more competitive, with the current scenario of the business. One way to look at it is, if you look at the present scenario, the either the capital goods industry or the automotive or any other industry, the productivity has been improving, but then the improvements are more as we call as the Kaizen, a continuous improvement or a mini improvement, 5%, 10%, 8% kind of improvements. And the demand, if you look at the demand has actually multiplied, but not for the same volume, but the variety has multiplied. The volume has increased, say, twofold. The variety has increased tenfold. So how do we manage this kind of situation? And you look at the fragmented demand, the cost pressures, and the quality issues, and so on. So now that is the present scenario. And when you look at the future, how we can drive the future business with the powered by the technology. So what are the technologies, how we can leverage it, and how we can grow our future. The other side of it is, when you say, how do you grow this business? Now, how do you disrupt the value chain? How do you change the business model? So there are two possibilities what we can do. One, how can we innovate the production system? And other side is, to innovate the complete value chain, which means the product, the customer, the supply chain, the manufacturing, distribution. So the two areas, primarily, you have to reimagine, the way we operate. One, to look at innovating the production system as well as innovating the end-to-end value chain. In most of the cases, both these scenario may be required. We'll see some of this, as we go further. So we see that there are technologies which are driving the industry 4.0. Mr. Chandramouli mentioned all these, technologies which are there. The core of it is the digital twin. So the ability to
Mr. Ayappan?
So we look at the future business. The future business is looking in terms of how do you create new business models?
Mr. Ayappan, sorry to interrupt. We lost you for the last 5 minutes on the voice.
Okay, got that. So what is the requirement of the future business? Sorry for, my bad. I think there's some issue with my internet. So bear with me for that. So what are the new business models? So how do we change the business models for the future of the business, which basically focus on the speed of creating new products, speed of delivery, flexibility. Flexibility, importantly, we look at when you have the manufacturing and the same facility. Now, earlier manufacturing 5 different kind of products. Now, can we create 50 different kind of products as we service the new market, and going to a world where it is you're competing with the leaders in quality? Can we be world class in quality and also in terms of efficiency? So we cannot add additional manpower or resources or facilities, but can we do that with the existing facilities? So you need a multi-fold, multi-level improvements when you want to look at, to sustain and improve the future of our business. Now, if we go one level deeper, now where the digital twin has been deployed, where there are several research which are there, but the improvements are significant. It is not 5%, 10%, but it is 2x, 20x. A lot of in our own factories as well as the places where people have started implementing, either in terms of productivity, the factory output, the OE increase, the product cost reduction. There's a significant amount of improvements that you could see while implementing the digital twin. I have an audience poll, but possibly we can take that. Don't want to disturb that. So maybe at the end of the call, there are 3 polls which I have. If possible, you can take it. Otherwise, we can do it during the Q&A session. So broadly, we classify as three areas. So one is how do you create a digital twin of your product? How do you create digital twin of your production? And how do you create digital twin of your performance? So that's basically broad. There are a lot of other digital twins also is there. It's not limited to what we see, but you can broadly classify as these 3 areas. So in the product side, how do you create a smart product? When you say have a smart product, which means it has obviously more than mechanical, you have the electronic sensors, the software and embedded system, the systems engineering. So a lot of things which are there as going as a part of the product. And similarly, when you take the digital twin of production, how can you virtualize the digital twin of production? And similarly, how do you take the digital twin of the performance? So we'll see that in the next few slides. So we look at the digital twin of product where, in this example, I'm assuming that you are making a machine. It could be a machine or a pump or a motor or, crane, whatever be that. Now making that smarter. So again, you have a set of sensors and the automation system, as well as you have the embedded systems, the electronics, ECAD, electrical systems, wiring, routing, all this scenario. Now, the digital twin is where now not just you are able to look at the geometry side of it. Now here, as you can see, that I'm able to operate the digital machine with my virtual PLC. I can also do that with the physical PLC as well. But the machine behaves the same way that it really operates, on the shop floor. So which means that your PLC programs, your ladder logic codes, rather than actually waiting for the physical machine to start up and test it, you could do that completely virtually. And this area is the mechatronics concept design to start with. Now you can go that take that further. So it's a combination of what we call as the physical model, and then you have the kinematic model, you have the electrical, the behavior model, you have automation side of it. So how we can have all these models working together and then representing the digital twin. So now it can also be that, it can be the, scenario for a durability, it can be for a noise and vibration, it can be for quality, it can be multiple aspect of it, but, all these things as a combination, now you're going to get a holistic digital twin. Now we take that as a complete machine where you're able to move across, and not just simulate the individual machine in isolation, but the machine in the overall context of the manufacturing, where you're able to connect this machine to the other facility, maybe a conveyor, maybe other factory equipments working together. So as a holistic factory, how are you able to create this digital twin working together? Now, I'm taking an example. This is done by the Toronto Road Engineering, creating the fastest machine, packaging machine, using this concept of mechatronics concept designer, where you're able to package about 300 bags per minute, which is electric and connected with IoT. Now, to actually create a big breakthrough where you're able to create these kind of smart machines, directly first time right kind of scenario, but basically using the power of digital twin to create these technologies. So another example from the Google, so how we're able to create, in this case for the tire industry, how we are able to use this machine. One on you see on the left hand side is the virtual machine, and on the right hand side is actually the physical machine. Now you can see that how close, that the representation and the pick and place, the cycle time validation, the machine to look at it, how we're able to do all that. Now, you can also take that, with the scanning. So you can also need as a part of, the technology know-how, want to do, the ATMANIRBHAR, as we say, so to localize, to indigenize it. So how well you're able to scan these components and take the scanned components into the product, make changes to modify as per the requirement. And also, for example, it can be for creating personalized parts. So where you have the MRI, CT scan, and you need to take that and create, for example, knee replacement. So you need to create a part which needs to be personalized, and how this is basically according to the amount in which the individual knee has deteriorated. Now how these kind of scenario can be done with the digital twin and the technologies which are there. And for specific for the capital goods manufacturers, there are a lot of standards and a lot of purchased in components which are there, in terms of electrical, mechanical, in terms of the automation components and so on. Now you have all these the scenarios as a part of design to reuse library, where more than 700 suppliers, people like SMC, Festo, Lap, Siemens, Phoenix Contact, all the components are available as a library. So it's online, so it's a real-time update, and you're able to bring all these components, and you can bring and put into your digital twin, so it can represent as close as possible to your digital model. So it's been a huge advantage for the capital goods manufacturers. Now, once you're able to create this digital twin, now how do you go and expand the future, expand the market, not just in India, but outside India with variety of, export opportunities. Now, ability to do that is, through the power of internet. Now you have the configurator. So you have the sales configurator available. Now you have actually the machine. You can actually completely automate it. So the customer, your sales organization able to provide the inputs depending on the specific customer, or the customer directly feeds itself through the internet. Now the ability to create a model and then look at the virtual configuration, actually the machine or the equipment that you're going to supply, that the customer is going to buy. Immediately it gives a huge power in terms of acquiring business, as well as getting more stickiness to it, the clarity and ability to deliver. Now the power is actually multiplied when you use this digital twin through the rule stream, as we call, to create the sales configurator and use it for quotation purpose. Now you can also take in for now, once you have the bill of material, you basically make the changes according to the specific customer. So you can create the accurate bill of material, and then what you will create is the specific bill of process or the technical package. Maybe it is for a single machine, or maybe a set of 5 machines or something like that. Now, how do you create a technical package for that, so that your manufacturing can take it and work on it? So for these parts, what are all the operations, tools, fixtures, gauges, which will be required, the sequence of operations, how are you going to inspect, those kind of scenarios are created as a part of your technical package. So right from your bill of material, you progress and create the, the technical package as well. And now this whole scenario can be simulated as well. So it may be a heavy equipment, and you can have a combination of the physics with the multi-body simulation, strength, stiffness, the CFD, the thermal, motion, durability, any aspect of your machine. So you can virtually validate those aspects of it for the field performance of it, so that your digital twin is, is more reliable, is predictable, is durable. So, you don't have surprises and the accidents, which actually create a huge impact on the brand and the demand for the market. So the ability to do that becomes really important. Now, you can also take that further, and what typically you look at is, from the engineering bill of material, how do you create your manufacturing bill of material, and for from the manufacturing bill of material, create the process plans for the product that you're going to supply, and then validate the process so that there are no surprises on the shop floor. So which means if you have a huge volume, then you can actually take a trial ramp up volume and those kind of scenarios. But then your volumes are actually, you're going to produce 1 machine, or you're going to produce, 3 or 4 machines. It is impossible that, you can actually have a tryout and, have some components and do a physical prototype scenario. Those kind of the options, do not exist. So essentially, what you need to do is the ability to do validate the assembly, validate the commissioning process virtually, so that you are able to build the product profitably, and the first time right, with a high level of the utilization, as well as the quality into place. Now, getting on into the manufacturing side of it, now you have the parts. Now, it can go through the fabrication machine tool, where you can actually use the CNC machines to manufacture this. So how well you can actually virtually run these machines, so that there are no surprises on the machine tool, or you don't spend time in programming those scenarios. And, for all these complex parts, how well you are able to accurately simulate this, so that, you can both optimize, as you have a first time right kind of scenario. Again, the volumes are lower, then the advantage of using the additive manufacturing for scenarios can be much more higher. Now what you're doing is, you're actually ability to do the additive printing, multiple kinds of technologies which are there available. But again, the digital twin ensures that you are able to simulate it, you are able to print it, you are able to realize it the way that you are able to design that. Now it could be through a laser metal fusion, or a direct energy deposition, or a inkjet technology, or a hybrid, where the DMG Mori does, where you have a combination of additive as well as subtractive on the same machines. So ability to do that, and the ability for the software to power and create programming for these machines. Now you can also robot applications you go in, and where you're looking at the typical robot applications you have seen more in terms of the automotive spot welding, pick and place, the arc welding kind of scenario. But what we see now is a little different, where the usage of cobots. I think the next session what you're going to see on the cobots. Now you can see that the cobots not just human friendly, but ability to take in the force sensors and the vision systems. Now you can actually add your artificial intelligence. Basically, the robot can be trained to program itself, which means of course you have the software to program using the technomatics and kind of tools. But then you can actually train the cobots, and not train the cobots in a physical environment that you have all these facility and do a training, but you can actually train that in the digital environment. So which means you have the ability, if you were having a physical cobot and the manufacturing system, you can actually do that virtually. So you can actually use the artificial intelligence to use the cobot to program itself automatically. And also cooperative robots, where you are able to, the machine-to-machine communication, or the collaboration between the robots. As you can see, where the robots on a continuous basis work with each other. So there are new possibilities of manufacturing powered by cooperative robots. And also automation and commissioning, where you can actually run the PLC program to to operate your digital factory, so that your commissioning on the physical factory becomes a lot more smoother and efficient, and it can be done more offline as we are going through these kind of scenarios. Now, with all that said, now you can also operate your plant digitally. So the complete production simulation, the moment from the time that the supply chain, where the parts come inside your factory, going through multiple sets of stages in terms of cleaning, drying, painting, machining, whatever these operations are, the kitting operations, the final assembly operations, identifying where the bottleneck is, what will be the shift patterns, what will be the batch sizing that you need to do, how you'll meet your delivery time, how do you balance your line. So all the aspects of it, you'll be able to do. When you want to reimagine your manufacturing, reimagining your production, you cannot do that by a trial and error method. You have to have your digital twin, wherein how you can virtualize your factory, how you can simulate the current scenario, evaluate multiple options, optimize these options before you can actually implement these options on the shop floor. Now that can also bring in terms of, say, for example, to visualize it, you may want to bring in your brownfield. It need not be always a green field, where now you want to create your point cloud data, take a scan of your factory, and then bring in the scanned point cloud. So that becomes an immediate or easy to use option within a 2-3 days that you have the scanned cloud available. You can, using the advanced digital cameras with multiple angles, you'll be able to create this the scanned cloud. Now you have a combination to use that with scan data, the solid model data, the fixture data, and so on. So your new changes, what you're doing into your factory is a lot more realistic in terms of how you are making those changes. So you can visualize these changes as well. And in case where you are actually doing a service to your customers, it can be combined with a high-end rendering. So you can use it for your sales presentations in terms of how the future of the manufacturing that you are presenting to your customers. You can also do that. It can be done for your internal manufacturing as well, but then it can also be used for presenting to the customers for getting the go-ahead or making the changes, taking their inputs, and so on. Now, it can also be a combination where the virtual factory, you can run the factory with the operators, which means you can, put the humans into play, the ability for work, ability of the operators to work with the different size of people, ability to look at, can we use the same tooling and fixture, or should we be able to modify it? What should be a more ergonomic situation for these operators? Do we have to make some changes if the new part comes inside, whether that calls for a change in the fixture and tooling, or you reuse the same fixture? Should we go in through a modification? Every kind of options you can do. And also with the operator, you can actually do that with 95 percentile male and 5 percentile female. See that what kind of general population can take through, or the 50 percentile male and female, and evaluate the assembly process validation, whether the operator is able to see the operation, able to perform, with the nut runner, that there's no collision on while performing these operations, and whether ability to use the hand inside so to perform the operations. So those things don't come as a surprise when you are actually fabricating or when you are actually building your capital. Now, that can also aided by the work instructions, so electronic work instructions, so that there is no need of manual creation of the Excel sheet, which are to create for every new product becomes really a huge, humongous work. Where with the automation, now you have the bill of material, the bill of process, and the documentation actually can be automatically created in connection with your quality processes that you have. So like, the APQP process and so on. So how are you able to do that with your quality management? And also look at, your CAPA. So how do you see the failures, the issues which are there, and how do you take these issues as improvements, whether you want to follow the, 5Y process, or, we want to do a Ishikawa diagrams and so on. Now you have the system, which actually a collaborative system to connect across from the sales to the quotation engineers to R&D engineers to application engineers, from the costing to manufacturing, production engineering, and shop floor. So you have a collaboration platform connecting across the complete enterprise and including the service. Now, any failures, any issues which are raised can go into this system, where these can be taken across for knowledge management and the issues prevention and so on. Now, the operator, you can also guide it through the augmented reality. So you have the technologies. How do you create authoring instructions for that? So you have specific tools to create the authoring for the augmented reality, say maybe for assembly guidance, or it can also be for maintenance purpose. Now, in this case, you can see that, with the AR hardware, now it augments itself to the physical machine here. So in this case, the bottling machine. Now I have to remove some switch gear inside. Now, what are the operations I need to do? You can see that in the panel on the screen itself, so that you are able to pick the right part and remove the right cable, perform the maintenance operations, so that the maintenance unskilled or people who are novice or even the owners are able to use this through the augmented reality technology. It can also be used for the virtual reality for the customer experience. So you're going to build a product which physically is not available. Now you can actually, provide a VR experience to the customer. So customer acquisition and the ability to influence through the VR can be a great powers in terms of getting the new business for the for your customers. I have another round of poll, but possibly we can consolidate ourselves at the end of it, so that don't want to disturb that in between due to the network. Not so sure to spend time on this. So we move on further into we looked at the virtual side of it, from the virtual product to physically. How do we execute that in the shop floor? How do you do that with manufacturing execution, with process adherence, the quality management? So you planned for these product sequence of operations and so on. Now, how well you are able to do that on the shop floor. So you know that all the processes which has been planned have been executed. So there are, if there are deviations, non-conformance, those are notified. So you know exactly the as-built kind of scenario. And while we look at it, you have the connected factory. So connecting all your machines, people, the resources, the product, and so on. So where the acquisition of all these data gives us the manufacturing intelligence, which can also be used for, the predictive maintenance and so on, where you are able to use the digital factory, for having a connected factory to gain the manufacturing intelligence and so on. What we have done is, in one of our factories, so which does the PCB cutting machine, which used to have a problem because there is a dust which goes into the spindle. Again, it causes an issue randomly some months later, like, maybe every 2 or 3 months, there is some issue. Now, what, the scenario, what the engineers at the plant have done is connected a edge device with an artificial intelligence algorithm, where it actually monitors the parameters. So in this case, it was also monitoring the current and the speed as well. Now you see that every time the failure happens, the current increase, was actually, so for more than a week, the increase, there is a significant increase in the, current consumption, as well as the spindle speed, reduction in the spindle speed. Now, this pattern was recognized, and the edge device with the artificial intelligence able to predict that the failure is going to happen soon, based on the previous history. So which basically gives the ability to avoid these kind of failures, and downtimes, where the maintenance could be taken much easier, when you have these predictive abilities coming out from the system. Now that can also be taken across, that for running inside the factory. So now you are supplying machines, equipments, to your customers across the globe. So you can take a remote access, what we call as manage my machine capability on the IoT platform Mindsphere, where you can have fleet of machines. Maybe you have thousands of machines running at multiple geography locations, maybe outside the country, different geographies, and so on. Now, all your machines with the IoT, you are able to connect and monitor, and you can also service, in terms of you can take remote control of it, as well as also service it, giving a higher performance to your customer, more uptime, as well as gain more revenue in terms of providing all these services to your customers. Now, that can also be not just monitoring, but you can also go to a level where you can go into depth to gain the insights of these machines. So in terms of how you can improve the machines for the future, and also for the operating, say, to find out what is the remaining useful life. So if you want to do a refurbish this machine, or this machine probably is not worth doing the refurbishment. Those kind of insights can also be done in this. Now, a lot of Siemens factories are in the process of implementing all these technologies. One of them is here in Mumbai, in Kalwa. Some of you may have already visited this factory. This example is at the electronics works in Amberg, where the digital twin, along with the Industry 4.0, which is implemented for a few years now, and the improvements are hugely significant, where we are able to increase the overall production by 13 times. Now that's something really very, very significant from where the plant started and what we are doing today, and the kind of changeovers that you could do. So that basically goes into the flexibility of manufacturing and the speed at which you're able to produce, and you're able to bring down from 512 defects per million to 10 defects per million. So more or less a perfect product that you're able to supply to the customers. Now we look at the digital maturity. So the way in which we believe that the companies like you could move forward in terms of the digital twin roadmap, in terms of creating the digital twin, using it for asset performance, energy management, and doing the closed loop. And that is basically where the the value becomes much higher, where you're actually combining the ability of the physical to connect with the virtual. So the improvements can be far significant than say for example identifying pattern or monitoring it and doing that level. Those are steps, but when you start realizing the digital twin, then the power to maximize, power to create value becomes extremely high. One, not only in terms of the innovating the production, but innovating the complete value chain, both in terms of your product as well as in terms of your performance or connecting to customers. And of course, like you go further in terms of the cyber physical systems and machine learning, artificial intelligence becomes changing the game and actually gaining a huge amount of market, leaving the rest of the competition actually far behind. So broadly, look at how do you connect and monitor, analyze and predict, and digitalize and transform. And the threshold of the value comes much higher when you are able to predict and not just at the first level of connect and monitor. And digitalize and transform is where you are able to move across, go global, reimagine your future. And that's basically where you build your competitiveness or becoming world class or ATMANIRBHAR, as we would like to call. So the last poll before I can conclude. So again, I will put all these things together so you can actually do the poll together. To summarize, say for the technologies driving the next growth, we call digital twin, industry 4.0. A lot of technologies which are there, but core of it is digital twin, because without the digital twin, none of this is going to work. So otherwise it becomes like, okay, I increase the automation, I add AR, VR, I add IoT, but really, unless you have the digital of this, to predict it, to check for questions and do a what if analysis and do a value creation with the digital, all of these becomes value, but much smaller. But once you connect with the digital twin, then the whole game changes, and that's basically helps you in creating the new business models and meeting the requirements in terms of creating the new products, speed, flexibility, quality, and efficiency. And as Siemens, when you look at, you should look at the holistic digital twin and not just, one individual silo. So how do you create a smart product? How do you create a connected product? How do you create your smart production and, innovate your production and innovate your complete value chain? So that's basically I wanted to present, and also open for both questions as well as the poll. If I possibly take these into same time right now may make easier.
Yes, Mr. Ayyappan, I think we should go for the polls now.
Yeah.
You got time now. You are now only at 12 o'clock. You have been very efficient on time management. Thank you so much. And that gives more time for the audience. We close only at 1 o'clock. So we got poll we can do for 10 minutes. And then, then we can move on to the Q&A. Please go ahead, sir.
Sure. I just pause my share, and is there a window that I can?
No, what you do, you just remove that, you stop share, and then click the poll. The poll will appear.
Oh, okay.
Normally the poll will be presented in a screen. I hope others can. Have you made it
is there any chat window? Because I've created a poll. I didn't know that. I created a poll in the Google Share. Okay.
Oh. So there is a chat window. You want to post it there?
I'll just give the link so that all of you can post it if that is possible.
No, we have to see the result together, no?
Ah, okay.
So you post it in the chat box, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know the method.
Just
in another forum when I did, the poll was hosted by the host.
Just give me a moment. I just.
You have
Sir,
done
copy
polls, you have done
copy
polls
the
with others,
link.
correct?
Sir, you can copy the link and put it in the chat box there, and then people can poll
Where
from
is the
there.
chat box? I don't know where to find the chat box.
What you do, you come out at
Click
the
on
bottom.
more.
More,
At
yeah.
the bottom, you have a chat box.
Record meeting info, hide, share, compound, leave. Chat, yes. Okay. Okay. I just, I can see.
Paste the link there, sir. You paste all the three.
Yeah, I'll
One
paste all
one
these
by one
three
we'll go.
links.
Take your time. Take your time. We are well ahead of time.
Yeah. So
We
first
are
link.
learning all this.
Yeah, we are able to see the links.
Okay.
First one you posted.
So can all of you paste your answer on this poll, please? Number one poll. But again, I'm getting as a Google form.
Yes. Probably I thought this is the way we do that, but possibly we can open, I'll open and show the results. So possibly that maybe.
Oh, you will get the result immediately?
Yeah, I will get the result immediately. Maybe what I thought is anyway, I can share with
No. Stay
the
with that point.
participants. I've also asked for the feedback.
No.
I can
The
post the
moment we all of
results
you
as
fill, Ayyappan,
yes,
let's
sir.
all of us fill up this form
Okay.
and then you publish the result, please.
Okay, sure. I will do that.
So I request all the participants to fill up the form. I am also filling up the form. Number one is email address you have to fill up. Then select your industry sector.
Yeah.
Then annual revenue. That may be not relevant, but it's okay. And business challenge, profit margins. I think everybody will say major issue. I pasted my first quiz. Can you paste the second quiz, Mr. Ayyappan?
Yes, I've done that. It's there in the chat window, sir.
Who is it?
I just put it as second poll and third poll.
So all of you, gentlemen, ladies, please fill up all the three polls. I wish you had an option called none also. Because many things what you have written, even in an advanced machine tool company like mine, we don't have it.
So
There is something called option one. What does that mean?
no, that is nothing, sir. Actually, I've moved that to the third poll, so you can move to the third poll. So first summary I have as of
No, wait. Don't give the summary. Let's finish.
Yeah.
All of us finish all the three.
All right, sir.
People are concentrating on the questions.
Okay.
Please. If you had done individually, we could have done one by one. I have finished all the three. We lost the audience where they are. Normally, we give a specific time.
Okay.
But I'm seeing your screen, which we are not supposed to see. Your desktop is visible.
Actually paused actually. I'm not sharing my screen.
Please, no, don't pause. You just stop sharing.
Okay, I've done that.
Yeah. Now, when you give the poll answer, you may have to open.
All right.
Now it is 12:07. We'll wait for a couple of more minutes before you announce a poll.
Okay.
Because the poll required some time to understand. It's a little complicated poll. It's okay. This is more like a survey kind of a poll.
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of information you are seeking, like turnover and all. It's okay.
Possibly share the overall.
Yeah. Now let's share the result. Go ahead, Mr. Ayappan. I think some people might be still filling up. Doesn't matter. You will
Okay.
still get the reports later on. Let's see how the overall thing is coming up, sir. You can now post all the three polls. Are you able to? You're going to post it through a sharing?
Yeah, I'm going to share right now my machine. Just give me a second.
Please. Thank you.
Just give me a second.
Thereafter, we have clear 45 minutes for Q&A. A lot of good questions have come. I'm reading them already.
I'm still not able to figure out the not so familiar with the Zoom actually.
Okay, don't worry. You later on you forward the result to us, and Harsh Chavan from CGSC will send the poll results to all the people who participated or registered.
I will
Sure.
do that, sir.
Because we should save the precious time for Q&A now. Normally, the way the Google the Zoom poll is done is a different method. The poll is already embedded in the toolbox of Zoom. We don't use Google
Okay.
Form poll. Anyway, sorry. We will move on to while Q&A is coming. If you are able to locate the poll, we can.
No, I'm able to locate the poll. I just only wanted to share my screen actually. So that is the only thing. So
That is because then if you are able to open that file called Google Form report.
no,
then
that I have with me ready.
Mr. Ayappan, right on Zoom,
Yeah.
you can see there is a toolbox coming.
No, now it's not possible. Harsh, please.
Okay, sir.
That is not possible because he didn't create it in the toolbox. He created it on Google Form. Anyway, so.
No, I just need to only share my screen. That's all.
Exactly. Why you are not able to share the screen? You just shared with your PowerPoint chart.
Can you give me privilege to share?
Harsh, please give the authority of sharing screen to sir.
Sir, that is already given to you.
Done.
Already
Okay.
with you. It's already with you.
Okay. So just I'm seeing the first responses. So if
now we are sharing the screen. All of them
Okay.
can see. Email and all we don't want to see, but it's good to have the email.
so I so the basically 31 overall responses and
can you slowly move, please? Can you slowly move and explain?
yes. So here in this scenario, basically wanted to find which sector so that you can understand if there are any patterns which we can get from the industry sectors and the challenges which are there. So the primary is 40% from capital goods and 25% from automotive. So that's then 13% from the component supplier. So that's basically majority of the.
I can also see. I'm very happy to see training center and ITA college. I'm very happy to see that because these are the people who need to look into the new job roles. I see some textile machinery, consulting, tool rooms, and your Siemens people and training. Very good. But automotive is significant. I'm very happy to see that. Component supplier could be a automotive component supplier or capital goods supplier. Excellent. Please move on, sir. Revenue is not important.
Revenue is not important, but
But I can see people below 10 crore. No, people below 10 crore MSME is a significant part of today's attendance. So I'm happy about 25%.
Yes.
And below 100 crore
good.
as per the new definition. So we are talking about around 53% or below 100 crore MSME definition. So that's very, very important. I'm happy to see MSMEs are participating. Next one, sir. Profit margin, I think, is not important. Next one, sir. Business challenge is very important. Yeah. So I
availability
percentages, but I don't see any. How do we?
No, basically, like, what you're saying is, if one is there, then it is basically like, it is not a challenge. And if 5 is there, that is a huge challenge for them.
No.
So it is in the grading of 1 to 5. So most
most people are in the middle. Okay.
Middle 3 and 4. So about 60% are saying
60%
yes,
are saying
it is
a challenge. Okay. Next one, sir. Know-how.
Technology know-how.
Obviously.
So
everybody is grappling with
technology.
So next one, sir.
Technology know-how is a challenge. So I think that is expected, and that is possibly the place where.
But next point is very, very important. Competitive advantage. Stay with that. You see, high quality. I'm very happy to see this result, that everybody is looking at digital twin to get high quality. Right. 57%. And 33% is customer support, which is after sales service, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So 57% high quality and 33% customer support, whereas price and delivery are the smaller part.
Yes.
Great. That's a beautiful result for your Siemens consumption. Next one, sir. Next poll.
Next poll, I'll just go back. Just give me a moment.
Yes, sir. You have to unshare and share.
No, that's
okay. You can open one at a time. Not an issue.
Yeah. So
open any one, sir.
So the for the second poll, from IT infrastructure. So in terms
most people are okay. I will interpret for you. Most people are depending on ERP system. Very few people are in PLM. MES nobody has. IoT, surprisingly, 27% people are saying they already have IoT. Great. That's a good penetration. Next one, sir.
Yes, sir. Digital engineering.
Many people are having MCAD. ECAD, some of them. Virtual commissioning, I'm surprised. 4 people already have virtual commissioning of machines. It's good to know who they are. They are well advanced. Thank you. That's excellent. Next one, sir. Digital manufacturing. 55% CAM. I suppose CAM includes CNC machines and all.
Yes.
But many people are also having in digital validation and production simulation and 3D layout. My God. It's fantastic. Very nice to know. Heartening to know.
Yes,
you know the real people, then you can talk to them and understand how they're doing.
No, I think that these are the people who actually are doing well, and possibly the opportunities and marketing, and it is important other people also catch up, and we really take this opportunity.
Great, sir. Then 2D, 3D, closed loop quality, not practiced. So majority are not practiced. Very fair, very fair. Very fair.
So this is the second side of it. I'll just move to the third poll.
But those who participated, the email IDs are there. It's good to catch up with them and understand how they responded to this. Number of employees. Okay. It's a statistical thing, but we can see many people are below 100 employees. That's a typical of machine tool industry. Around 50% are below 100 employees. Good. But there are many, 29% of people are greater than 500 employees. So that means either they are automotive industry or they are colleges. I don't know. And between 100 and 500 is 25%. Wow. The next one is digitalization areas. This is where you allowed us to click all of them.
So it's very, very interesting. So, I think there is...
this is what is very, very important for Siemens.
So digital twin of production is, really
40%.
want to innovate the production, connected factory and innovating the product, robotics and automation. I think, very, very.
But some people are keen on big data, artificial intelligence. I'm surprised because that is an area India is not caught up yet. And robotics and automation is, as usual, very, very popular, 34%. I think that last bullet you had was an incorrect thing. So some people have clicked it. Anyway, that you can ignore it. The last one.
Yeah, the last one, that's a mistake.
Then next one is benefits. Wow.
So in terms of faster new products, productivity, I think people are somewhere putting about less than 50% or about 10%, 10 to 50% is the majority. And
if you see the green color, people are very modest. What they're saying is, they are not expecting any spectacular gains. They want to get a gain, okay, below 50%. Fair enough.
Yep.
They are not looking at some 100%, above 100 and all.
Yes.
It's more of a psychological expectation. That's okay.
And
I
thought this export will become, an important aspect, because you're looking the ATMANIRBHAR. So
Reliant is not only for. Okay. So you can come out to the video, Mr. I want you to be in the video now, Mr.
Yeah, I can be there. So
you have shown all the three polls. Maybe we can share the poll results through mail to all.
Yeah, I can make a report and share it to you.
It can be for all the people who participated or those who participated in the poll alone. Doesn't matter. Now I want to go to the chat box and let me handle that part.
Yeah.
For you. I enjoy reading the chat questions already. I will go in the order of priority and combine some questions. If you can come out of your share screen, Mr. Ayyappan.
Yeah, I think I have exited my share screen.
No, you are still on your screen.
Oh, still on my screen.
And come on the video. Now you come on the video. Can you come on the video?
Just a moment.
You and me only will be in the video now. Yes,
okay.
You are on the video. Okay, gentlemen, I think out of 77 who started with, 70 are still there. Others have gone for a coffee perhaps. Let me ask Ayyappan, all questions mostly will be addressed to you, although I am happy to read it for you.
Sure.
One, Mr. Prasanna, someone asked before the webinar, so that also we are including.
Okay.
Very, very fundamental because before the webinar, they didn't see the webinar. Let me at the outset, thank you, Mr. Ayyappan, that it was a very, very comprehensive webinar. As the animations and videos are going on, you are pouring out with knowledge on the benefits to the customer. What normally will take a 2 hour, you have done it in 45 minutes. Congratulations. It's phenomenal the way you have done it. And I concentrated and I wrote down notes. You see, I got notes. I got 20 points notes on which I'm going to trouble you later on. I'm sure my audience also are making many notes. Question number 1, Prasanna Kumar Patro, I don't know from which company, is asking, what are the benefits and challenges of digital twin technology and how it will impact on the Indian skill ecosystem?
Okay.
Number 2, a related question, how can we align with the domain skills? Domain means sector specific. With the digital twin manufacturing technology. Very, very generic question, but we'll start with this. But
Excellent.
Each question you take very little time because there are many questions. I want to give opportunity to all those who ask.
Okay.
Hot stop at 1 o'clock.
Sure, sir. So digital twin to start with, I think in fact that's where we started from. If you're looking at say your machine tool manufacturer. So now the way we want to look at things is how you can make these machines in terms of the sheet metal fabrication, the motors which are there. How do you size these motors? So there are engineering aspects of it. There is a integration aspect of it. You have the ECAD, you have the automation. So a lot of combinations of this. So where there is a value, is when your machines or when your products are becoming smarter. And when you want to bring that smartness into the product, then you have to build that intelligence inside, and the intelligence is a combination of the you have to have these sensors, you have to make it more aesthetic and ergonomic, and that is where the digital twin plays a role, because otherwise it becomes like a prototype or a fabrication. So you can make one, but is that the optimized one? Is that the best one you can do? So those are all typically kind of questions. So we have to move away from where you're making a specific machine which is already freeze to a place where you can innovate on the machines, can innovate on the ways in which the machines can be operated. And that possibility exists when you have the digital twin available.
But the question from him is about the Indian skill ecosystem, skill people.
I think
our question is about skill.
Skill side of it, I think that's possibly the greatest advantage as a country. What we have is there's huge amount of people who are already doing for a lot of companies, global companies for who are outside the world. You take the HCL, TCS, the Wipro, Mindtree, and a lot of people are already doing the service for the global companies, but then the same problem exists for the local companies as well. And so the skill are available, but today we are servicing the people are servicing the global companies. Now the technology, with the internet and the software, the technology is there available to everyone. And, probably we have the people or the young generation coming in with immense amount of power and learning to adopt and things like that. So I think that side, the availability side is there available, and the with the kind of organizations now with the ATMANIRBHAR and the CGSC, probably very less of it was there probably or put to use maybe 20 years before and 15 years before. But today with these kind of organizations coming in, the lot of portions of skill and there are a lot of people who are there as individual contributors who can actually become an ecosystem. To make
I will add to this, Mr. Ram.
Yes, sir.
Capital Goods Skill Council and Department of Heavy Industries are interacting closely with what is called Samarth Udyog. Samarth Udyog is an abbreviation for Smart Manufacturing Hub. And there are 4 centers already created in Delhi, Pune, and 2 in Bangalore. These centers are now creating a lot of skill ecosystem. I don't want to go deep into that, but people can browse Samarth Udyog, and it sounds like a Sanskrit word, but it's actually abbreviation of English abbreviation, and see what are the awareness workshops are being conducted, training workshops are being conducted by people like FSM in Delhi, C4I4 in Pune, and CMTI in Bangalore, and Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. So skill ecosystem, CGSC can post all this Samarth Udyog thing. Harsh Chavan will make a note, and Harsh Chavan, you must create a link to all the Samarth Udyog centers who are the beacon lights of training on digital manufacturing. And we will definitely invite experts from Siemens to be the faculty in those workshops, because not much can be delivered without the experts coming on the picture, particularly the global experts. Let me move on to the next question. And well, I think I should go in the order in which it was posted rather than the latest one. Well, I think one Mr. Prakash Upadhyay asked, are you going to speak on industry-specific topics or general? I think at the end of the session, you would have understood. It was so specific to the industry, and many examples have been given quoting machine tool industry, but I also saw other industries quoted in the case studies, automobile, etc. If you expand each slide can be a webinar by itself. Mr. Ayappan is a walking library of what he is prepared. It's only an overview. Every slide in that is a technology and can address certain sectors. He spoke about packaging industry in the beginning. A company called, name of the company was Tron Rudd Engineering, which is the world's fastest packaging machinery industry, in the tire industry, and so on and so forth. Well, I think a very good question. There is a very interesting question from a totally non-engineering company, aquaculture farms. I think these are the challenges, Mr. Ayappan. Mr. Ramachandran is asking, we don't know his email and other things, Harsh Chavan can provide you. How can we implement cost-effective real-time monitoring in aquaculture farms? That means as the fisheries and other things are growing underneath the salt water, can we have a digital simulation, attach IoT to that, If you're able to answer it, I'm happy.
I can try to answer. I think the connected system. So you can always monitor, for example, the chemistry inside or the biology inside the farm that you have, and possibly to monitor the activity of the fish or the kind of fishes. So you want to measure these kind of systems with the sensors and take intelligence out of it in terms of the feedback which is coming out or in terms of output you are getting. I think those possibilities definitely exist. So the IoT, it can be in agriculture, it can be in biotechnology, it can be in pharma, it can be in fisheries. So the application is wide, and the important aspect of it is once we have this information, now the ability to create insights out of this, and using the artificial intelligence and machine learning, that is, I think there is a huge possibility.
It will be very, very useful, Mr.
Yes,
Ayyappan.
Yes, sir.
That people non-traditional application, like non-manufacturing application, like aquaculture, etc. If Siemens can post something on their website,
okay,
which you have done globally anywhere. Japan has taken a lead on agricultural reform through digital technology. I'm aware of that. I'm sure some Scandinavian countries have done a lot of work on this. See, everything is finally sensing certain things like a temperature, the salt concentration. I worked in an industry which is where my colleague was doing mushroom production. And he used to tell me on 21st day, if you don't pluck the mushrooms, it becomes poisonous. So even time duration is one of the parameters. So there are so many things one can look at. Temperature of the horse dung manure was used. What is the temperature in the horse dung manure? So there is no limit to automating this, because these are the areas where you have to remotely control them. Nobody can reach the agriculture farm in the cornermost part of the country. So it's a good question, and one Mr. Dr. Narahari is asking, what are the future trends in digital transformation? Very generic question, very quick answer, sir. Future trends.
One thing which comes out very, very clearly is the, I think which was a continuation of earlier answer, which is, I think the artificial intelligence and machine learning. I think that is definitely.
I remember your graph was going like that.
Yes.
Where digital transformation graph was going towards deep learning, machine learning, etc. I took a photo of that. Okay. And you are telling automation is in the beginning of the graph. So, yes. That means Indian maturity level is still in the start of the graph. But we should not jump to the 7th step unless we go in the first step. My humble request to all the 70 companies who are participating today, let us take a step-by-step approach instead of a quantum leap. It's nice to listen to machine learning, artificial intelligence and all, but I think to begin with, it's an humble IoT, sensing, sensors, automation, and then go step by step into the transformation. But far in the future, the technology may even replace. I think I always say there are only 3 things we are still doing without the digital support. Is eating our own food, one of the example. Other examples can talk later. Now, a very interesting question from our colleague. Digital technology in textile machinery manufacturing, design and manufacturing.
That's a huge
textile
area.
Have you done anything? Has Siemens done anything?
Yes, with multiple customers on the textile industry, both global as well as some locally. But the interesting aspect of it is, one of the we saw the fastest packaging machinery, and you have the high performance in terms of the textile industry. I think the company name was Picanol or something, where again some European, I think it's based in Switzerland, I believe, where the point again is this: when you want to create more smarter, more intelligent machine, then you have these combinations working together, and the chances of failures are very high, and the ability to have the digital twin to basically look at, like, what will be my noise level, what will be the performance level, the durability, as well as the sensors, and how do I optimize, and also I want to give it at a price which is attractive, then becomes really interesting, and also simulate the whole machine scenario, and also the weaving pattern, and there is a lot of engineering and the associated with the if you are having a bale, and from the bale you're like, you're going to the blow room, and blow room to multiple, the spinning and weaving and all that. Each of them has a a specific analysis, and you're able to simulate those analysis where you can actually improve the performance. And you also have the connected machine and ability to work with the connected machine to have more higher level of service level and revenue related.
What I suggest, Mr. Ayyappan, the best way to go to market, I mean, I'm not talking from the sales point of view, from the knowledge point of view, if you can have a sector specific case studies in your website, Siemens India website. See, when you go to Switzerland and all, it's a different thing. But the most leading textile machinery manufacturer of Switzerland is now in Pune. Right? And then there is a most famous engineering German company is now in Ahmedabad. Between Ahmedabad and Baroda. So these companies are already existing in India. So we need to have sector specific case studies of any of the technologies. We are not talking only digital twin. It could be any of the technology revolving around Industry 4.0. If you can have a case study link with the permission of the customer, and it is put sector specific, agriculture, food and beverage, assembly line, electrical industry, automotive industry, and up to capital goods industry. It will be a great value to both for Siemens and for his customers. And as more case studies are coming, people would love to post their case studies. And I think one single portal of Siemens should have this ability to capture this. Now coming to next question, medical applications. Dr. Somasundaram is asking, what is a digital twin application in medical field? I already saw one of the case study you showed that knee cap or whatever, but
Yes.
You can elaborate some recent one. Particularly is asking during current pandemic, COVID era.
Okay, so again, there are a lot of actions which goes across. The popular one is the the ventilator creation, social distancing. So there are a lot of scenarios which goes into the medical aspect of it. You look at the biomedical scenarios in terms of how do you create. For example, robotics plays a huge application. For example, you want to do for respiratory spray, the inhaler scenarios, how well that the spray, what you are doing, which portion of the human that you are, so you can create the digital twin of the human, the flow, the speed at which you're operating, how do you optimize the nozzle, the spray distances. Every aspect of it, can be simulated and also, calibrated or recalibrated into those kind of scenarios in terms of creating your medical devices, stents, catheters, so on and so forth. You also see the other example where you want to do a personalized treatment in terms of surgery, where you take the MRI and CT scans, like what you saw in terms of knee replacement, or it may be a cranial implant on the head, where the criticality and the importance are extremely high, how well you are able to create these implants so that it needs to work within you. And a lot of problems which are there, because I mean, if you are doing a root canal and you are a tooth replacement, you have a little more crude method of creating the pattern. But imagine that you have to do that for some things which are there within your system, and then the digital twin becomes a lot more relevant, and there are huge possibilities both in terms of these the implants scenario, as well as creating the biomedical devices, and the associated systems which are there, and also doing the performance simulation of each of the problems. Say, I wanted to identify the stent, the viability of performance of it, or the ventilator, and the other aspects of working together. So there's in pharma, life sciences, there is a huge possibility. Again, it all combines with the electronics. So how well you are able to combine and create this smart product, and ability to work with people, so on and so forth, becomes a huge possibility.
Thank you, sir. I think each time you're illustrating with very good examples. A very interesting and important question which will help all the audience is, what are the softwares and hardwares required to train students on digital twin? So this is not an easy answer immediately, but maybe you can send a small note to Capital Goods Council, to my attention, which I will forward to Capital Goods to send to all the registered participants. The list of softwares, I remember your PLM model, starting with the NX Team Center, MindSphere, blah, 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 up to the last performance thing, and the list of hardwares. This question, if you remember, came in the CAA webinar also, and they asked a similar one. Yeah? This people want to know what to invest in, and the benefit of it. So you cannot only put some buzzwords like MindSphere, Team Center, and all. So there should be a matrix of software and benefits, and matrix of hardware and benefits in a small matrix table. That time also I requested you to prepare. Again, I am requesting you to prepare it. Otherwise, it looked like a very woolly thing, and particularly for students. And students, today's students are going to be your tomorrow's customers. And they are going to do the ATMANIRBHAR. ATMANIRBHAR Bharat is not people like me. You ask me to learn a software hardware.
Students, actually what we have done is created a complete package of all products and created as a module. I mean, created as
what is it called?
Package for
package called?
So this is something which is all consolidated, because if you take even in NX, there are maybe about few hundreds, if not goes in few thousands. So of modules. So breaking down each of this from a skill level is very complex. So what we have done is understanding this complexity, understanding that this is a typical requirement. We have actually created a bundle for digital twin of a product, digital twin of a production, digital twin of a performance. So we created bundles. So just 3 or 4 bundles, and more or less you will get all our products within these 4 bundles.
No, we are talking about training. We are not talking about bundles to be ordered by a real organization.
Yeah, this is for skill development. So
skill development. Very good, very good.
For the students.
That's excellent. And later on, I will tie up with you on behalf of Capital Goods Skill Council, IMTMA, and other bodies, how to get these bundles accredited and certified by Department of Heavy Industries, so that it is available for thousands and thousands of companies and colleges at a very low cost. They want to go on a subscription model, Mr. Ayyappan. They cannot afford to pay a few crores to buy these bundles. But if you are able to do a cloud kind of a concept where people can use for, it's like nobody will use for all the 365 days. It's like the Microsoft 365, which is a cloud-based subscription. And I'm sure you can look into that. Now coming to...
No, this is already available, sir. So
great.
At the subscription model or the cloud model, as well as on-premise model, and at a subsidized for a non-profit. Any non-profit organization, we are able to provide at that.
Great. I will tie up with you on that. At least there are 3 non-profit organizations I am representing. I will come back to you on that. And that will help the industry at large, as well as the people who are participating today. Now, there is a very interesting question. I can answer that myself. Mr. Nandakumar is asking, for process plants, which is one of the subsectors of Capital Goods Council, specific webinars are required. And since many variables are simultaneously addressed in a chemical plant, in a petrochemical plant, in a pharma plant, food and beverage, thermal station, so on and so forth, what are the digital twin applications? Or in the sense, any digital application, particularly for keeping safety in mind, safety requirements. Beautiful question by Mr. Nandakumar. Yes, sir. Over to you, Ayyappan.
Sure. That is, it's a huge area, and that's something. If possibly, given an opportunity, we'll be able to share details on the the process plant itself. We call that area combined with capital asset lifecycle management, and you also have something called what we call as the plant side. So where focusing on the digital twin for the plant operations, maintenance, safety, and also at the upstream, where you're able to look at simulation and optimization before before the physical plant or a brownfield, and then operating this plant as well, because it can be from the SCADAs or the DCS and multiple other systems, where you be acquiring this data, and also safety aspect of it. For example, it may be a nuclear plant, and there is a specific regulation which you call it as ALARA. So as low and as reasonable. So the exposure for the nuclear dosage is permissible to only to a certain extent. Now, how well a maintenance person can go there, do some operations, come back. So, the walking distance, the dosage, and the particular operation that he needs to perform, come back. All these scenarios can be validated. And also the human performance, human simulation, you also see that, the human interaction, human safety kind of scenario, fire, how quickly the other side is, in case of fire, how well your area is protected, how do you simulate those things. Also able to simulate in case of evacuation and, emergency clearance and those kind of things, with the current plant, what will be the time which will be required, so that, if they have so many people at any point in operation, where should be the location, how the people should move, optimizing those locations. A huge and immense amount of possibilities. And also
I want to put a comma here and ask you a question.
Yes,
when
sir.
a company is reopening after Corona, the problem happened in Vizag and problem happened in Neyveli and other places is happening because they switched on the factories without simulating. So people like Siemens should play a great role in the restarting of companies, not discrete manufacturing companies I'm not referring, where accidents can be managed by normal physical observation. But in the process plants, everything is hidden.
Yes.
Be a thermal station or a petrochemical, Siemens should come with an aggressive plan. It should come from Department of Heavy Industry kind of level, and Capital Goods Skill Council can support you on that and tell you which are the chemical and pharmaceutical plants require a simulated approach before they can restart the company after Corona. It's a very dangerous point, Mr. Ayyappan. Please talk to your MD level and other levels to look into this as a very, very strategic intervention. Intervention, I call it. What happened in Vizag? 2 times it happened in Vizag in 2 different plants. And Neyveli, 15 people died, to my knowledge, more. And many more not yet reported, or I have not seen the televisions. So, safety area, I'm happy to get that question from one of our audience. There is one very interesting question from Mr. Swarnaram Karthikeyan. He, I have to take this question because he studied in Makino Technology Training Center.
Okay.
And that is the center was established by me in 2004-2005. And now he's working with Quest Rolls-Royce.
Okay.
Rolls-Royce Quest division. He's asking a very generic question. Companies are little hesitating to invest in digital transformation. What would be your advice on organizations and at what stage they will kickstart? You can interpret this question in whichever way. There is a resistance to start, there is ignorance, there is a cynicism. So many things are happening with many companies. Affordability is a big question. I'm adding some more point. MSME says, I can't afford ₹1 crore for digital twin. Sorry. I can't train my people. I'm already struggling with the bank on the one hand, Nirmala Sitharaman on the other hand, and who promised me 3 lakh crores, and so on and so forth. OEMs, 70% value addition depends on MSMEs. I'm just elaborating the question asked by the young man, Swarnaram Karthikeyan.
Now, very, 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 pertinent point.
Affordability, cynicism, non-believing that benefit, all this, how to break this bottleneck?
Okay. So, my submission, sir, is I don't think any of these things should be looked at from a technology viewpoint at all. The way we need to look at things as business owners and, as management and running the business is the way. I think the topic is about, like, how do you reimagine your business? So how do you see future of the business operations, and how you can make your business more competitive and expand your business? And technology is going to be technology, or the innovation and the other sides, all are going to play a role in doing that. So, for example, if we can continue to do with the incremental improvements and, say probably like, 5-10% of improvement in the productivity and stay competitive, and, you see that there is a future of 10-15 years and there is no, there's no major change that you look for. I don't think, you need to do any changes for the sake of technology. But then the possibility is there. Say, for example, like, I may be doing a forging for, maybe a piston or something like that. Now I see that there is a disruption which is happening. Maybe Another 3 years down the line, possibly the demand for piston possibly may go down by 50%. Now, that is the external pressure. And there could be a lot of other things which are there, in terms of either I'm making a motor or a machine tool or, pumps and compressors or cranes, things like that. So how I'm going to service the market. So that is where, one of the question I was asking is, what is your competitive advantage? Is that the product quality or, the cost that you can do it? And obviously, I see that there is nothing in the cost. And I think, it's not a very good situation, because you have to have competitiveness in cost as well. Say, for example, I'll take an example. I think all of us use a mosquito bat, and the mosquito bat is hardly anything in the technology. You have a battery, you have a shield inside, and I think 99% of the mosquito bats are imported, and we cannot produce that competitively. So there are Indian manufacturers of the mosquito bat, which is actually twice or thrice more expensive than the than the products which are there imported from China. So there is quality is a must, and you have to be at that price if you want to be competitive, because otherwise you can make the mosquito bats, but we will not be there in the business. So the importance to answer your question, on the levels where the acceptance in terms of investing in the technology and all that, is you look at it only from your business aspect of it. What how can you differentiate yourself? How can you become more competitive in terms of cost, quality, customer support, attractiveness to the market or stickiness to the market, whatever, or you innovate the complete value chain. Say, the way what Amazon and the other people do. At the selling level, you do the innovation, or the product level become more smarter, or production level where there is again a problem of scale. But then how well you are able to innovate so that you are able to service this. So this is a business critical question. And it is not about investing or the size of money. I think there are a lot of ways. CGSC is one way, and there are a lot of other organizations which are there, ready to provide support, as long as you know what you want to do. But important is, as business owners, need to see, how the future is, and reimagine how your operations are to be, more competitive, to survive, as well as, expand the business. The way I would look at things.
I would like to add a very simple point, Mr. Ayyappan. Because these many steps, many drops make the ocean, is a proverb in our Indian culture. The main point in the digital revolution is the data. The backbone of digital revolution is not technology. It is information, data. The data could be a Ola car arriving at a time. The data could be a Swiggy or Zomato bringing the food to Mr. Swarnaram Karthikeyan, who asked this question. Now, why can't an entrepreneur capture his data sitting at his home during Corona regime or otherwise, or in his car traveling from one place to another, as to what is happening at that moment in his production shop floor? A real-time monitoring of performance. I'm using simple words so all the 53 people still on our participation are listening. Real-time monitoring of what is going on, descriptive data of quality measurements, production output measurements. I'm not even using the word productivity. That's a ratio analysis we'll come to later on. And third, throughput time or takt time or cycle time, which are measured on the spot, real-time measurements. And there is a fourth thing which is called the variety, product mix. I leave that alone. So these parameters on a day-to-day basis, and of course I forgot to mention uptime of equipment. Downtime, 1 minus downtime is the uptime of equipment. Is a machine working or not? An entrepreneur having only 3 CNC machines, if one of them is under breakdown, even if he has got business, he lost delivery of 1/3 of his turnover. And in B2B market, when he is serving another OEM or a tier 1 or tier 2, tier 3, the delivery which he lost is equal to business lost, because the OEM will buy that amount of order production lost from some other person. So given this situation, even to monitor current situation, the digital revolution which is happening in Ola car or in e-commerce purchase from Big Basket or for Swiggy or Amazon, high time it comes into the manufacturing era. That's my first answer. Second answer is, when it happens, that entrepreneur then worried, MSME or whoever, why it is less than yesterday? Why is it less than 9 a.m.? What is the reason? CAPA, you said CAPA, corrective and preventive action, root cause analysis. What is the reason it is happening? Diagnostic ability of the digital transformation. Many tools are available, apps are there. Why it is happening? Why? First is what, second is why. And third is, so that it will not happen in future, what should I do? So first of all, you must predict the future, predictive analysis. And then you must know, if it is going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next month, what should I do to prevent it? Should I order a new spare part which is going to fail through condition monitoring? Should I develop another vendor because the first vendor is failing in supply chain? And or is the quality is deteriorating because my tool is wearing out? So I'm going to change the tool before it fails. Tool monitoring system, as we call in CNC industry. So to summarize, data is a backbone, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it is digital twin or IoT or AI or simulation, whatever jargon you're talking about, all are relating to managing data, information. Automation, robotics existed even in Industry 3.0. It existed for the last 40 years. People mistake Industry 4.0 mean automation. No. Industry 4.0 mean data. Internet, using internet revolution. Not ERP data. ERP data you get it the following day, next day only. And some people get it next week. And the larger the ERP, the more time it takes for you to get a report. That's why when you buy a huge ERP like SAP or whatever, they are also now thinking how to convert their SAP into digitalized transformed SAP. Why I am elaborating this point? Because 50 people are listening. They are going to tell another 100 people. And they are going to tell another 1,000 people. That the bottleneck is the mindset. That it is all, oh, technology, oh, no. It is data. Do you want the information on your mobile phone? Yes, answer is yes. You are not dialing anymore for a taxi. You are not dialing anymore for your Kana from Swiggy or Zomato. You are not dialing anymore to get your Big Basket groceries. Same thing is happening in the manufacturing era. And what Mr. Ayyappan is telling today, ladies and gentlemen, is you don't even have to produce anything. You don't have to design anything. You just simulate the design. You simulate the production. You simulate the after-sale service. Then you get into real production. Virtually, you can eliminate all your concerns and doubts before you get into it. That is the subject of today's seminar. And I think we have 4 more minutes to close. There are other questions about aerospace industry and all. When aerospace industry will come up, it's a larger question. It has nothing to do with the digitalization. It has got to do with the pandemic. So that will be answered in a different forum. One specific question I will touch and then I will close today is somebody called Mr. Mohan has got VR setup, virtual reality, maybe AR also, augmented reality. He wants to connect it to NX software. Is there something called NX 11? I don't know. NX 11.0 is written. It's a very specific question. You can answer now or you can answer Mr. Mohan later on offline. It's a very specific, company specific question. But we respect all questions, and Siemens will help those who already have a Siemens software. Definitely you can approach Siemens. If you have a software from PTC, why would Siemens go and help you? Or conversely, if you got a Siemens software, why would PTC go and help you? So these are questions I will not venture on. And
answering this question, there is a module to connect, there is an add-on. So we call it as a NXVR. So can add the NXVR and then.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Mr. Davies, sorry, Mr. Mohan, you got the answer. You need to order NXVR. Go to Siemens website and order NXVR. Then Davies is saying, he's very happy today, Mr. Davies. and you asked what is the fundamental difference between digital and IoT. Please, that will be the last 2 minutes, Mr. Ayyappan.
Okay, so I think what Mr. Mowli said on the IoT, you do that to start. So that is the foundation. So you get all these data from the IoT, and using this data, you are actually doing the analytics, insights, and the prediction, all these aspect of it, which are coming inside from the IoT, which is basically starting from the physical side of it. Now, the digital side of it again is a very, very different way of looking at things. Say where you physically something is not available. Say you are going to create it is going to be there in the future. Now you want to do that right the first time and then go on doing the improvement. So you want to create the machine tool or a robot or a program or whatever. Now how well you are able to do that in the digital environment, and that is where the digital becomes more powerful. And in fact, digital can go to a level where the digital twins actually can create data. So, sir mentioned about where you actually have the physical machines working and producing data and then creating this insight. Now you can actually put in the virtual machines, and virtual machines actually running the production can do the virtual. I will come to, what is the importance and why we need to have that, because and that is where actually this is a really important question, because and that is where the cyber physical systems comes inside, where you are able to create a system which is able to learn by itself, and that is the optimize itself. And for a system to learn by itself and optimize itself, it cannot be only where it is giving the data and we are doing and analyzing and improving on. That is yes, it is important, but when you want to go to the next level, where not only you are able to produce this data, but you need to optimize, doing the self-optimization. So there's a lot of areas you have self-optimization. Say you are using a simple scenario, using a robot to fill a cap, for example. And now to look at this data, sense this, where this location, access it, place it exactly. Now you can actually do a program to do that. But then if this has a tolerance or a variation, there is slackness, and there is a there is a shift which has happened. Now the robot needs to recognize itself, understand, and then learn itself today to see that how it can actually look at for the varying scenarios. And that is where the cyber physical systems comes in, and that is where the digital plays a major role. And any optimization, say you want to do a batch size optimization, so you have a delivery, and you need 10 customers to be serviced, and there are X volumes, 20, 40, 50, whatever it is. Now how well you are going to create, what will be an optimized batch size so that you are able to deliver, becomes an important question. So multi-attribute balancing. So data is important, but digital is more important if you want to create a differentiator, and that is where the digital and the
But his question is it,
important.
in what way it is different from IoT? Okay, I will venture into this question. IoT is Internet of Things. You have a phone with you. The Ola driver has got a phone with him. The Swiggy motorcycle fellow has got a phone with him. And the Swiggy restaurant has got a phone with him. The person who ordered the idli dosa has got a phone with him. So all the three things or four things called the telephone devices, mobile phone devices, are interconnected through internet. So you are able to order the taxi, you are able to order the food, you are able to track where the delivery is happening and when it will arrive, etc. etc. So IoT is the Internet of Things. That means you need to have things. Cyber physical system, as Mr. Ayyappan mentioned. There is a cyber, which is a software digital aspect. There is a physical, which is a things aspect. And the connecting the two, you get beautiful solutions. So that is where the answer for IoT versus digital, to augment the answers given by Mr. Ayyappan, to put it in layman's terms, because we don't know the audience today, Mr. Ayyappan, are spreading from a young student to a very capable OEM also present today. That's a problem of some of the heterogeneous webinars that we have, and we cannot filter out that different levels of understanding. We have to answer most of them. Sure. And my belief is when you are able to address that most fundamental question, all 50 people who are still now are happy to get that answer also. As we say in the college, school, the last bencher question, when you answer it, it's benefiting all the students in the class.
Sure. Very true.
And I think it's already 1 o'clock. Many people want to leave there, but 50 people are still not leaving. They're so interested. We started with 87 people, then 50 people now. And one of the interesting question, which I would like to still ask, and related to my field, is that they want to connect their existing CNC machine and upgrade it to the IoT devices. This question is from Mr. Muruganandam. Muruganandam have left. But on behalf of Muruganandam, this question may be there, many of the other people. It is not really digital twin question, but Siemens is there in Sinomeric and so many fields. And existing legacy machines or existing old CNC control machines, can we still activate them digitally? What do we need to do? He's asking, Mr. Muruganandam.
So
With that, I close today.
Okay, so the answer to that is yes, definitely. So there are latest generation of machines which comes default with the IoT, and for the generations which are there, years back, that can be connected with devices, which can connect across multiple machines as well. So there is a specific unit, we call it as IoT units. Specific brand, we call it as IoT Nano, IoT 2040, so on and so forth. These are all the IoT smart boxes that attach it, which can actually become more smarter machines in the future.
Okay.
There's one option. There are multiple options to make these possibilities exist. So that's definitely possible.
Can Siemens recommend the most reliable IoT boxes?
Of course, we have our own boxes, sir, so it becomes a little.
No problem. No, I'm not saying other brands.
So the advanced ones, I would say, are the Siemens, the nano boxes. So nano boxes are really advanced in terms of reliability and the ability to work with multiple protocols, multiple range of machines, and so on. So that would be definitely a big plus. For students and things like that, that can be IoT 2020. There's little more non-commercial grade. So between that, there are options which are there. But the top end is the IoT.
Very good. So you got a range of IoT devices which can activate the existing machines with MSMEs and other customers.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a great revelation and understanding from even from my side. Because people are trying to reinvent the wheel. There are many startup companies are unnecessarily reinventing the wheel. I don't want to discourage them. But instead of doing hit and miss, it is better to try one of these affordable devices.
Yes.
And reverse engineering always there in any part of the world.
Yes.
What we call as the Ullas Nagar Sindhi Association, made in USA. And but unfortunately, the spreading of the message is very slow when people are trying to reinvent the wheel. The price they are paying for slow development, because Modi Sahab has talked about Digital India and Startup India. He's got both. So, and then there is a Make in India and there is ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT. So, to achieve all of them, Ayyappan, is very, very difficult because it slows down the process. My personal belief is we need to take what is available. We have to make it affordable through piece rate concept, subscription concepts, cost per part charges concept, and so on and so forth by people like Siemens, Schneider, Pesto, SMC. My appeal to all of them who are listening today, and then we will post this in the LinkedIn also, this recorded webinar. Will you permit us to put this in the LinkedIn?
Sure, sir, please.
Thank you. Right away you permitted. So Harsh Chauhan will post it to not only to the registered people, but also he'll post it in the LinkedIn. So it spreads, more people come to aware. And I believe in webinars, the Q&A portion is becoming more important than the webinar portion also. Because the webinar is a one-way communication. The Q&A is to some extent two-way communication, but due to the difficulty of working out of home, we are able to only get the questions in the text box. A very, very useful website has been given by Mr. Girish, and he calls it as a www.leanworkscloud.com. He has written in the text box. And Harsh Chauhan can also record this text box list and share it with people, not an issue. And the host only will have access to the text box. And Mr. Ayyappan has been kind enough to do a brilliant webinar. Thank you, Mr. Ayyappan, with all our hands coming from the leader of the industry, Siemens, and leader within Siemens, Mr. Ayyappan. I think he just had his Krishnashtami. I can see his tilak. And in spite of the festival, he has participated. And I must really thank Mr. Harsh Chauhan to come all the way from his home to the Connaught Place office, because he wanted to host it on a strong internet platform. And Shalini Singh, his boss, who is probably listening, but I don't know, and she could not join, who's doing a yeoman service to the society through this ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT webinar series. On that note, can I close? There are more questions are coming. 5 more questions have come. People are very, very excited today. Some are simply giving vote of thanks, and some are still asking question. Can digital twin be used for training and upskilling of existing people? Already you answered it. You've got a bundle of training softwares and for the training. And when we start the training, Harsh Chauhan, you can interact with Mr. Ayyappan, copy to me, on when he can start the training workshops. Of course, he himself cannot do it. He has got a team of 100 people. And those people are the trainers who will come on those platforms. And very powerful webinar platforms hosting. So, because the trainings will have a lot of animation, videos, interactive PLC, all those things he showed. That you have to be ready with technology, Mr. Chauhan, before we start the training workshops. It's just not easy. It's not an ordinary Zoom, we are talking here. Thank you, Mr. Ayyappan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you.
One of the best webinars we had in the last 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chauhan, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.